Cisco Secure Cloud Insights, Use Case 2, Attack Surface Management and Configuration Change Detection. In this video, we will focus on Secure Cloud's Insights' ability to automatically create relationships between the discovered assets or resources based on all data types ingested. The relationships created provide the ability to detect the attack surface and the blast radius once an asset is compromised. We will then discover how queries and relationships can be leveraged for attack surface management and configuration change detection. We get to ask it a question. It could be as simple as, do I have a public-facing instance that has access to a non-public S3 bucket? So does my VM access a non-public S3 bucket? Yes or no? Tell me about it. Now think about this. If I had multiple cloud environments and I'm searching this across all of those different disparate technologies or cloud service provider, this can be tedious. Look at that. We get to see this relations graph. We can see the relationships between the internet, the instances, the security group tags, and my S3 bucket. Here's the properties. Display name. I've got whether it's HIPAA eligible, the name, the principal, some good data here. But look at, as I walk this back, I can see security group access to instance. So the instance has some controls, and I can see what they are by clicking in it, just like I did with the S3 bucket. Here's my web instance. Here's the instance assigned access role. And then ultimately, I've got the access role permissions, which gives the S3 bucket public access by allowing the instance to access it. So it is a private bucket, but has access based on the relationships of the other resources that are associated with it. Now this gives you different views of the graph, and you can pivot out, you can take a picture of it and add that to any document that you might be writing for incident response as an example. There's a nice visual here. So a lot of really good stuff. Remember, relationships matter, especially in a security context. Now here we can very quickly look at some of the pre-built questions that are available in this graph-based query language that's extensible, flexible, and customizable. And you can see a lot of the questions that are already pre-canned. And I can very quickly search anything here, and it'll start providing me questions that are already pre-built and available for me. So I can search S3 buckets. Is public access enabled for any S3 buckets? Well, that might be something I want to alert on, right? And maybe regularly. Is encryption enabled on S3 bucket containing CloudTrail logs? Now we can search for something a little bit, different, maybe unencrypted. I want to look for any S3 bucket that has unencrypted PHI or PII information. Is there any unencrypted EFS file systems? So you get the idea here, right? I can very quickly come in here and parse this IAM roles, and there's a list of them here. And then I can even get a little bit more specific and just say IAM roles that are unused for 90 days. And look, I don't even type it in correctly here. I type in IAM roles for more than 90 days. But if I scroll down, there is a query that I am interested in. Unused IAM roles for 90 days. Let's search that. There's my query. It's going to come back, provide the results, and it says, look, there's nothing there. There's no maybe misconfiguration. We can breathe easy. We can do this for unencrypted drives, public buckets, etc. Really, really cool. But let's go a little bit further. We're not always going to do a manual query. We might during incident response, but we may want to come in here and drive out alerts. And so we've got one here with an S3 bucket that should not be allowed public read access. And there's our query here. So that's the breakdown. It says not restricted, not everyone grant read or grant write permissions. And then it gives us a little bit of details below as well. And so I could come in here and edit this, and I could take additional actions. So we've got a tag here of AWS config, and here's the additional actions that I might want to take. I might want to create a ticket in Jira. I might want to leverage ServiceNow and create an incident. I might want to publish this in AWS using SNS. I want to send an email. I want to send an SQS message. So the goal here is to truly understand what's happening in complex scenarios. So in our example, we looked at IAM policies, IAM permissions, bucket policies, EC2 hosts that have a public access and are active, security group rules and network access. We can look at VPCs and subnets and ACLs that are associated to it, routing tables, gateways, load balancers. We can parse specific IAM permissions. We can correlate all the different data points and relationships and truly understand what might be happening. Think about this. If I had to do this manually to understand whether or not that S3 bucket had any tie to the public world that's when it's supposed to be private, how much work would I have to do to figure that out? And remember, this is one example with one cloud provider. Imagine if I had this with multiple cloud vendors, it becomes challenging at best. So that's what Cisco Secure Cloud Insights helps us do. Truly understand the relationships and whether or not there's risk associated, and gives us quick insight into the complexities of our environment and where the risks may lay.